Okay, so what we're going to focus on now is subordinating to distinguish main ideas. And I struggled with the word to distinguish. I thought maybe I would put emphasize. There's not a really good term, but to not distract even from the main idea. We don't want to put things in main clauses if they're not of equal importance. Okay, so we want to de-emphasize, and when we de-emphasize, we raise up the main clause, and we hope that these subordinate structures will force people to concentrate on the main clause and not get distracted. All right, so here's what I find typical of students, and we saw an example like this last week, okay, where students are coordinating too much. And it doesn't matter so much that they're repeating the and, okay? They could repeat but, or they could have a so in here or whatever, but what's important is that they're not expressing the relationships between the ideas, okay? They're seen in isolation. This happened, and this happened. Look at the content there. What is, and this is what's hard, because you have to get into your student's mind and say, what possible relationship could they be seeing, and how can I help them see it? And we almost have to do the creative part of the thinking ourselves, because I think I'm almost certain they did that creative thinking, and they see the relationships in their mind. I don't think the students are being lazy or not caring. I just think they're not focusing on it.
Yeah.
So how do we help them? We have to take it, we have to, I shouldn't say. I ask them to look at the first sentence and focus, especially if it's a long sentence. I've given simple examples here, but I get them to focus on the subjects and verbs in the main clauses and say, what is happening? What's the relationship between the two ideas? So computer prices have dropped, production costs have dropped more slowly. Just those two. What's the relationship between the ideas? Any guesses?
The drop in prices.
Yes, that's a similarity, but are the sentences the
One is the notable, might be the notable of the other.
It could be, and we'll keep that in mind, but dropped, look for some from keywords.
Dropped more.
More. Okay, so we see more,
One is faster than the other.
and more is comparison.
Yeah.
Okay, so the good part about this is there will probably be in your students' writing some words that help you along a little bit. And when you can focus on a word like more, oh, maybe they want to compare. Okay, so that's a hint that you can give them. The next one, prices have dropped, production costs have dropped more slowly, comparison. What has that got to do with profits? What has that got to do with computer manufacturers contending with profits?
That could be like a consequence of that too.
Yes. Okay. All right. So that's something that then you have to verify with the student and say, is this what you mean? Then that would take care of it if all you wanted to do was coordinate. That's what we did last week. We figured out what these relationships were. But look at the three ideas. Which one does the student think is most important? What perspective are they writing from? How are they framing the whole paragraph or the whole paper that they're writing? And as long as it's not in isolation like this, and you're able to look at the whole paper, you might be able to help them along to find that out. Sometimes when they're just writing a short paragraph or two, it's hard to know. So I'm usually asking them to tell me. But in this case, you want to take a guess?
Maybe the manufacturers are making less money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately. So what I have to do then is tell the students, how are we going to highlight that main idea? How are we going to not distract the readers from that point with those other two main clauses up there? Because that's what it's doing. It's distracting. How do we distinguish the main idea from all this other stuff in there? And we're going to choose one of those, one or two, a variety of subordinate structures to get rid of those two distracting main clauses. And many ways to do it. That's the richness of our languages, is that we have a lot of options, and this is just one. We wanted to do cause and effect, and remember, we talked last time about coordination, and that under normal circumstances, cause is subordinate. Okay, so this is and it's a matter of getting students to ask themselves the questions. Look at the first sentence. Do you have your subjects and verbs where you want them? Are your subjects and verbs the most important points in your sentences, which they should know from writing effective sentences? Focus on that. Focus on subjects and verbs then, and you're asking yourself, what's the relationship of this sentence to this sentence? And okay, you made a new sentence out of those two, don't stop. What's the relationship of this new sentence to this one?